It's been a little bit since the new AirPods Pro 3 came out, and I've done an initial review of them that you can check out, links down below. But I wanted to take a minute to talk about the assisted hearing aid capabilities that the AirPods Pro have, number 3, as opposed to the AirPods Pro 2. Now, full disclosure, I have no relationship with Apple. In fact, I have negative relationship with Apple. I bought these guys both with my own money. So this is going to be my opinion. Okay? Everything you hear is going to have to do with my experience. I do have mild to moderate hearing loss, mostly in my left ear, but it does affect my ability to hear people speak and to hear in loud places and to hear when I'm watching TV. If you've seen any of my videos about the AirPods Pro 2 and the hearing aid functionality that was made official last year, then you'll know that I was a big fan of this. $250, and you can go through the settings and get an audiogram that's specifically tested for your ears, and that they use that to then help your hearing in a bunch of different ways. And I found it to be a good option over spending sometimes a few hundred, but sometimes a couple of $1,000s, even on over-the-counter sold hearing aids from folks like Sennheiser and others. The AirPods Pro 2, if you have mild to moderate hearing loss, these guys did a really good job. So you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting good sounding headphones that really work well with all of your Apple devices. And you're also getting that personalized audiogram that is going to take in the sound and help you out in ways that just regular transparency mode won't. So when the AirPods Pro 3 came along, my initial question was, do they sound better audio-wise? And for the most part, yes. The AirPods Pro 3 are an improvement across the board from the AirPods Pro 2. Maybe not like a night and day. I can't believe that this thing wasn't, but still a very nice improvement. But the real question here is, how do they sound when using them as hearing aids? Now, I have an audiogram already set up, and in the interest of comparing apples to apples, I haven't reworked my audiogram with the AirPods Pro 3. I wanted to see, my hearing probably hasn't changed that much in the time since I made that. And so I wanted to see what the real differences were between the AirPods Pro 2 and the AirPods Pro 3. And my initial reactions were, the AirPods Pro 2 always had a somewhat unnatural sound to them, a little bit muffled, a little bit metallic in the tone of voice. And while it wasn't altering the sound that you were hearing so much so that it didn't sound realistic, you could tell that it was not the same as it would have been without the AirPods. The AirPods Pro 3 are much more transparent. Some people have attributed that to the better noise canceling that they offer. There's better auto gain when you're listening to louder, softer sounds. So I used these at a Buffalo Wild Wings on a college football Saturday with my wife and daughter across the table, and the conversation was easy for me to hear and natural to follow without everything being really, really loud. And that was something that I don't think I could have done with the AirPods Pro 2. And that's down to what Apple claims they've been able to do with the adaptive audio on this, as well as improving the transparency mode. One thing that was always kind of a pain about the AirPods Pro 2 when using them as hearing aids is that the transparency mode killed the battery at a rate of about 6 hours. And I know that some people would use the AirPods Pro 2, put one in one ear and put one in the other ear, and then they would, kind of just switch them off so they didn't have to buy 2 pairs. But the AirPods Pro 3 now has up to 8 hours of battery life in transparency mode, which should get most people through the day. And there's up to 24 hours of listening inside with the battery that's inside the case, which is down from up to 30 hours with the AirPods Pro 2. But I think that the added time that you get with the AirPods in your ears, it's a trade-off that if you have to make it, it's not that big a deal. The AirPods Pro 3 are more dust, sweat, and water resistant to IP57 as opposed to IP54. There's a live translation mode with these that you can use, and they also have heart rate sensors inside. Now, I wear an Apple Watch, and I'm not quite sure exactly how much having a heart rate sensor in here would matter, but biggest difference in sound is that while the AirPods Pro 2 were natural enough that you got used to it, the AirPods Pro 3 are almost indistinguishable to my ears from what's actually happening in the room. If I were to A/B these, I'm here in the room, I'm not wearing any headphones, I'm talking into a microphone. It's a deadened room to a certain extent because I'm recording. And so I put these in, and let's just see how, same audiogram, everything else. Let's see how these sound as hearing aids. And again, so I can hear myself in my head. I can hear the refrigerator that's over on the other side of the room running a little bit. Everything sounds a little dull, but not terrible. If you've used the AirPods Pro 2 as hearing aids, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Definitely more detail in just the ambient sound that I'm hearing around me, as opposed to not having them in. But when I put in the AirPods Pro 3, immediately the seal on these is much better. I know that some people have had trouble with the new ear tips and the new shape of these. They're thinner than the other AirPods Pro, but some people, the new style of ear tip has not been great. It's a silicone tip, but it has inside of it kind of a foam-like substance. So there's more substance to this. It's not floppy like the other ear tips were with the other AirPods. So when you put them in, you do get a better seal. Some people have had trouble with the ear tips. Apple does give you 5 different sizes of ear tips to go with here. You've got large, they come with medium already on. You've got small, and extra, extra small. And I've found with my ears, I have one medium tip, and then my left ear is actually a small tip. And that gives me the better seal. Some people's ears are shaped differently, I guess. My reaction is that my voice with these is more natural sounding. There's not as much separation between me and what I'm hearing inside of a noisy space or when watching TV or listening to people in conversation. I definitely can hear better than I could with the AirPods Pro 2, and I definitely hear things more naturally. There's a much better pickup of my own voice and a cleaner separation of all the things that I would hear as I was moving through the world. Should you buy the AirPods 3 if you have the AirPods 2? Should you buy the AirPods 2 instead of the AirPods 3 if you have neither? The AirPods Pro 2 are still available, and you can get them for below $200, sometimes as low as $150, depending on when you buy them. Apple's not selling them on their website anymore, but if you go to Amazon or any of those kinds of places, you can find them, and they're usually a lot cheaper. The AirPods Pro 3, $250. But again, my feeling is if you have the double duty where you want good headphones that sound good for what headphones are supposed to do, and then you also have the hearing aid possibilities that these things have, and then you consider the hundreds or thousands of dollars that you would spend on over-the-counter or prescription devices, you do get some benefits from those. However, if your hearing loss is not anything more than a mild to moderate hearing loss, this is a really great in-between. Another thing to consider is if you have the AirPods Pro 2, like I still have the Lightning case, and this is one of the last couple of Lightning devices that I have. So the AirPods Pro 3, of course, are USB-C, as the iPhones and iPads and everything else have been for several years now. So that's something that you could consider as well. At $249, which is the same price that the AirPods Pro 2 were, you're getting much better transparency mode, much better audio in general, and you're getting a much clearer, crisper, more natural sounding hearing aid functionality with the AirPods Pro 3. So if your AirPods Pro 2 are a little bit old, or if you don't have any AirPods Pro yet and you need this functionality, there's no other headphone on the market of this quality or really of any quality, because I've tried some hearing aid headphones that aren't very good that are cheaper. There's nothing else on the market that can help somebody with mild to moderate hearing loss recover some of that hearing and sound really good and work really well in the Apple ecosystem by switching between devices, etc., etc. So go out and get these. I'm going to put links to my other videos about the hearing aid functionality down in the description below. And also hit subscribe so you can see my future videos coming up. Otherwise, thanks so much for being here. My name is Jason. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts, but not your ears if you're wearing the AirPods Pro. Till the next time, I'm out.